whether I needed to change the file name to, on some of the photographs, the menu board shows it's either 1253 or 1246, but the actual file resides in the folder of the other one. And so basically you told me to change it all over to the other one. So now do I need to, that's my question. Do I need to go back now to the Google Sheet and put in what I did so that it makes sense?
That doesn't necessarily need to be in the Google Sheet,
It doesn't? Okay.
because it's just that those unit records were misplaced into the wrong folder. So it was more a digital filing error. It got put in the wrong folder. But you can check the Google Sheet to make sure there isn't anything funny. But if it looks to be correct, like if, for example, what number did you say that was?
It's between units 1253 and 1246.
Let's go down to 1253.
Where the overlap occurs because of a feature. It's a post hole that is being shared by those two units. Yeah.
I know I addressed this in the Slack here. Let me search 1256.
No, it's 1253 and 1246.
Oh, 1246. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1253. I don't think it's going to show up in the Google folder. Oh, see this one.
That's the feature. Yeah, F721 is the feature that we're talking about.
And then it was, you said 1246?
Right. In other words, the menu board says one number, but it actually that photograph actually belongs within the other numbers folder. So if people go in and just look at it, they're going to go, wait a minute, why is that here? It says, and I can't remember now which is which, but
yeah, I would just like we did, I would just move that that file to its proper unit folder.
Go ahead and move them and don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay.
I don't have to explain it on the Google Sheet.
Yeah, don't have to just explain that on the Google Sheet.
Okay.
One of the other examples that we had was something that that you had, Tony, and that was I can't remember if we had this in relabel.
It was in relabel, and you just answered it this morning. So probably 1219.
Yeah, so 1219. If we go to that folder, let's see.
Nice bird.
It is a nice bird. If we go to 1219, and that one you're still doing right here. And for 1219, that was a card
right there, SC9.
SC9. So in this one, this card was for feature 696, and it's what's written on it is A and B. And when we start to look at this, what we see is this one card is has 3 different strata on it. It has A, B, and C. And so what we'll want to do with this is look at this is unit 1219, is go to 1219 and see how those proveniences are listed, if they're all together or they're separate. And what you can see here is that there's 3 different strata. There's A, B, and C, and they're all listed separately. So that's going to tell you that you'll want to make a different card or a different file for each of these, because pretty much every record that is in the Google Sheet should have a card. And so in this case, what I instructed Tony to do was to make 3 different copies of these cards. And so to do that, what, you haven't done this yet.
Yes, I have. I'm okay with doing the copying.
Okay, so you put that.
I haven't done it yet, but I'm okay with knowing how to do it.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, to make that copy, you would, I'll just show everybody, you just make a copy like so. And now we can rename this one. I'll just do this for you, Tony, as an example for everybody, if that's all right.
Sure.
We'll rename this one to MT1219.F 696. And this one will be A, and then .ca for card.
And you have 129 instead of 1219.
Oh, yikes. That is not good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Becky.
You're welcome.
1219. All right. Yeah, do as I say, not as I do. So there's 1219 F696.A. And now that one should be
Down at the bottom.
and yeah, right there on the bottom. And then the other card, this one right here, we'll call this one B. MT1219 dot feature 696 B dot CA. And that looks right. So that's done. And now this one will be at the bottom. And what we can do is we can go to the these records right here. And Tony, what are your initials? Are
Well, I'm just using TM.
TM? Okay.
Yeah.
And then made a copy. Card 3 strata. And then you could just copy this to these right here. I just did the 2 right here. I'll let you do the 3rd one, Tony, when you're back on the on this job.
Now, quick follow-up question, Matt.
Yeah.
Good. Right above that, they also show on that there's an F696, but yet there's no card for that.
Yeah. And for that one, let's look for that. See, you got this right here. You've got this inventory number.
Okay.
What you can do is I'll write this inventory number down, 9079.
Right.
And let's see where that is. Hopefully that is not on this one. If it is, I'll lose my mind. 9. I don't see that inventory number here, which is good. And where that would be, let's just skim through these. Here's stratum.
Well, that was going to be another follow-up question, because SC10 also says you got an F696C separate card. So
all right, so this one,
my next
this one,
now I've got 2 C's. You know, so.
Yeah, this one we'll make this one the actual C card. So
Okay.
It looks like they did have a card for C. So this one we'll make this one the C card, which is MT1219 dot F696C dot CA.
Okay.
And then if we hit OK on this one, that'll relabel it. The inventory number for this one is 9081. And that's 9081. Oh, looks like Wendy is waiting. All right. Hi, Wendy.
Hi there.
Hi, sorry to have you be in the waiting room. I completely forget to look at the waiting room. I need to disable that from Zoom.
Well, see,
So,
good for Slack, right?
yeah, good for Slack and Zoom. Yeah. So for this one, I'm going to say that this card existed on its own.
What happens with the other card that was SC9 that makes reference and gives some information on C, though? Because the second page of that card, did have some information about C.
It did. It seems to be duplicated on this other one, so that'll be all right.
Okay.
That-
What
that
if
I
it's
can-
not? What if it's not duplicated?
If it's not duplicated, just make a note of that on this.
Okay. Okay.
So
Instead of trying to put an additional card or a copy, just make a note in this section.
yeah, basically every strata should have its own card, but
Okay.
you can't have two cards for the same strata
Okay.
because that gets messed up.
All right.
So
And then go back up to the original where you got your cursor. So what about the F696?
So for this one, this has an inventory 9079. So we'll go back over here and see if there's anything.
Can you do a search on that, Matt, instead of going back through all 12 cards or something?
You can't, because this is all written text and it won't recognize it.
Ah, okay. All right.
So I am not seeing a card for this one. D, E. There's 695.
Right.
And then this is 696, so we're back where we started.
Right.
And let me see if 9079 is not on this card. I don't see it here. So what I would do is just go in here and say, TM, this card is missing.
Okay.
And that way we'll know it's missing.
And the same thing I found out on F above. I couldn't find a card for that, so I just made that note as well. Is that?
Yeah, that's perfect right there. Exactly.
Okay.
So now if you happen to have a strata that is, let's look and see if this is the case. No, this one has a strat 0. Sometimes you'll have a strat 0 or a feature that didn't have any artifacts or no samples were taken, and there's no inventory number for it, which means it won't be on this list, but you've got a card for it.
Right.
What you want to do is just enter a line, insert a line, above or below this, and then enter that information. And then under the notes, put your initials and say, card was missing, or I'm sorry, there was no record for this, added a new record.
Okay.
And so that way we'll know to add that to the database. Because the only way these strata get into this Google sheet is if there's actually an inventory number for it.
Okay, so if we do come across that, just go ahead and add a line to it and make the note. That's what you're saying.
Add a line to it and make a note. Yeah. Say,
Now,
yeah.
On the same one, I hate to keep taking up, I got examples or questions still. So
Yeah,
this
no
one does
problem.
not, so this one does not have a picture. So I was just going to go ahead and make a note on there that there's no picture for strata Z0, even though there's a card for it.
Yeah, and that would be fine. Now, if you happen to have a opening photo for strat A,
Right.
that suffices. That could work for the closing photo for strat O.
Ah, okay. So go ahead and do a copy of that picture and show it as a closing for 0, and then
Yeah.
it's an opening for A.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is exactly the case. So
And then at least there'd be something for it.
yep. Okay. Well, that makes sense.
So, and I mean, the most common photo is the opening photo, but if something's missing, just find the one above it or below it, and it'll be fine.
Okay.
And you'd want to note that it's closing, because just when it's unlabeled, that's the opening photo.
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, that was the main thing, is if you all, when you all are doing work on these records, is to go into this set of units records right here and check off what you've done, and then make sure these stratum are the stratum that are listed take priority. And if there's ever something that is just, out of whack and you don't understand it, put it into the problem folder. And then you could put notes in here, like on this line, and then also write something in Slack and we can look at it. So
Matt, on a segue to that, I did that for 1212, put the notes on 1212, and then also put something in Slack So I'm assuming that once you go in there and look at those, I'll hear something back from you.
Yeah, so you had a note for 1212. Let me see. Oh, and I never answered this. No, or maybe I did. Let's see. For 1212. Oh, that was for the profile.
Yeah, and I missed your reply. Sorry about that.
Oh, no problem. I did this late last night, so. Yeah, but yeah, putting a note for 1212 in here, no plan view. And you don't worry about if there's not a plan view. There's usually not going to be a plan view, but there should be a photo and a card. So it's not always the case there'll be a plan view, but definitely there should be a photo, an opening photo for everything.
Yeah, and I think the other part of that question was, maybe you answered it, is that there was a profile, but it was a cross-section profile. So there was no direction, no north, east, west, or south. So when you have a midsection or a cross-section of it, I've probably got it under records issues or something like that, missing records.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for that one,
Thanks, Dan.
this guy?
Yeah, so I'll put a question mark. And it's a midsection, so there's no direction.
Yeah, this one.
And I couldn't find the designation on your instruction sheet.
Let's see, we could figure this one out. This one, the cross-section line is right here. I would assume this is north.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make a
You're gonna make an executive
decision, yeah, and just put north on this.
All right.
And if it's not north, I don't think I'm going to purgatory or anything like that for that. So, and did it relabel? Yeah, it did. Made it into north. So
Okay, well, that makes sense. I can take the same kind of action next time that comes up again then.
yeah, that's not gonna and for this one, what you can see in this, it has a note that says see plan view for location of bisect line. This bisect line is how this bisect is drawn, and it was excavated. This is the bisect line right here.
Gotcha.
So that cross section goes right across through this area.
And then you're looking north when you look at the section. All right.
Yeah, I'd be willing to bet it was a
Yeah,
north.
there's north indicated on the plan view.
Yeah, that's the north is usually up for the plan view. And but this should say this should have said what it was. I'm looking to see if there is any this, it's hard to say. I'm pretty sure it's north because the feature wasn't bisected. It's just this is the drawing of its bisect. I don't see a bisect photo on this.
I support your decision, Matt.
So cool.
Hey, Matt,
Yeah.
I have a similar situation to the pictures the photos we were just looking at, and if you can scroll down just a little bit. Nope, stay there.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Where
So
were we? 1212.
1212. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you scroll down a bit, there's right there. There's photos, a whole series of them in progress. They're labeled. See that picture that you were just pointing at in that one, they're all labeled as in progress. Is that the proper way to handle them?
Yeah, for that, they should be, thank you for pointing that out, because this would need to be, these should be numbered.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that on your instructions either, because there was like 5 shots
Yeah.
just of that feature B. So I thought everything was supposed to be either opening or in progress or closing. So I didn't know you wanted to start adding numbers to them.
Yeah,
I
go ahead and
encountered
add
that somewhere
numbers to
too.
that.
Yeah.
And
I can go back and change it. You start, so the opening is opening and then you start with a B1. So you're saying you put S.
Where does the number go?
where the number would go, I'll put it on this one. is the number on this one would go at the very end.
Okay.
So it'd go right here.
A good way to think about it is that none of these should ever have the same names as
Yeah.
each other because they all have to be unique. And so if you end up with a weird series of photos where they seem like they should all be labeled the same thing, they shouldn't.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I don't think we use the number 1, but we would start with number 2 and 3 and so on.
Oh, in progress, and then in progress 2, in progress 3.
Yeah, that's true, because that would make it easier for the
I mean, if you put the 1 on there, I guess I don't know if it would really make any difference, but it seems like our convention, at least as far as I know, is that you don't put the 1, but when you get to the second one, you put 2, as I just said.
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
Sort of the same principle, Dean, that you're using on like C, and then it goes to C2 instead of C1, C2.
Yeah.
Now, is that true for any multiple? If you have more than 2 pictures, photos, whether it's for a feature or anything else, if it's in progress, go to the numbering system. As
Yeah,
soon as
go to
Yeah,
the
it
number.
happens a lot with in situ photos.
So as soon as you get to more than 2, go to the numbers.
Yeah. The most
More
important,
than 1, go to the number.
Well,
Yeah.
when you have an opening and closing.
well, those
Well,
like
those
Taylor,
are separate.
like that Taylor was saying, those have different names. So something that's opening is a different name than the one that's closing. So it's just if you have 2 closing photos, you'd label the second one with the number 2.
Well, right. But if you have the same feature like we do here, okay, I got you.
Because these are all in progress.
Right.
And what you'll want to do is to make sure,
Yeah, this was a good one. Got a lot of different things in it.
yeah. I mean, what you can also do with this is, let's see how this one, I'm not seeing a photo board on this. Usually it's a detailed shot.
Yeah, I couldn't find one.
Yeah, you know what this one might be? There's one missing here. This one actually might be the opening, because I don't see an opening shot of this.
I thought I put one as an opening.
Huh?
I thought I did one as an opening. I could be wrong. It's starting to get a little. Yeah, the one right above it I did as an opening. See where it's F693B, just PH?
To the left, yeah.
That would be
Oh, that
the
one.
opening.
Okay. All right, then that's set.
Yeah, there it is. So see, then they did a blow up. See, that's the opening one.
Yeah, and then they did a detail one.
Then they did a detailed one, which was I started putting it in progress and so forth.
Yeah, this one, if it's, I don't know if we have anything for a detailed shot, but this one, what you might want to do, since it's the same one as the opening, and it's not an in progress, is just call this one PH2. Because it's that opening shot, and it's just a second shot. Does that make sense?
We shouldn't label something in progress unless it says it on the label board, right?
Good luck on that one.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
they're not labeled at all.
Yeah, they're not labeled like that at all. From
Oh,
what I
no.
Well, some of them are labeled in progress
Yeah.
on the label board.
Yeah, but
As long as these get, the most important thing is that all these get a unique label, and they're labeled with the unit and the strata. All these are going to be grouped together into a single PDF, so they'll be accessible. And the other important photo is the opening shot. And then for a feature, if you can find a good closing shot, that's a good one to have as well. So eventually we're going to have to go back and
I have a question
check all
about
these.
the opening photo.
Pardon?
I have a question about the opening photo.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is, if we can't find one, a suitable photo to be an opening photo, does that qualify then for that unit to go into missing records? Or is it okay for some strata or features not to have an opening photo? You seem to be putting quite a bit of emphasis on the importance of having an opening photo to go with each card. So my question is, if in fact we can't find one, a suitable photo to be an opening photo to go with a given card, does that qualify this unit to go into missing records?
You could do that. That's not, there's no harm in doing that. We can go back and make an executive decision on that. Yeah. But what you'd want to do is
put it in missing records.
Yeah, put it in missing records. And then in the Google sheet, you'd want to put which one had a missing photo.
Yes.
So
yeah, so that somebody would, well, so that you will know why it got into missing records.
Yeah, it'll be an easy way to go back and reference that. So, and figure out what happened.
Yeah.
You can look at the strat card too, where it says what photos were taken, and if it says there is an opening photo and you can't find it, then it definitely is missing. But maybe the card doesn't have it notated. Maybe they don't have a notation that a photo was taken.
Yeah, especially for a lot of times for strat 0, there's no opening photo. And if it's strat 0, I wouldn't worry about it because that's like grass. So no.
But don't worry about it for strat 0 then.
Yeah, don't worry about it for strat 0.
Okay, except for strat 0.
Right.
Well,
yeah, everything but strat 0. I mean, this is there's all kinds of things that happen during the excavations, and there's so many units. There's bound to be errors that are made. So, but if you have any questions, you can put it into the problems folder or the missing. And what we'll do is, if for some reason it's not noted in Slack, or it's noted in Slack, we never answered it, we'll go in and just look at the form right here, the front yard Google sheet, and if you have a note there, we can figure out what your question was.
Hey Matt.
Yeah.
Earlier on that other one, 1219, you were just saying that I could copy the picture for A and then move it up into the 0 closing. But now you just said don't worry about a picture for 0.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be an opening. It'd be a closing. And what we want is an opening.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
So, I mean, a lot of times the only closing photo we're ever going to use is for a feature, because when we go back and do the feature form, we're going to want to have the closing photo for that feature. And when we do that form is probably when we're going to go and look for that. There'll either be a closing photo, or we'll go and find the best photo to make that into the closing photo.
Okay.
So, and the feature form is a whole different form. And when we do that, that's when we'll find that closing photo for the feature. So that's what Taylor's been doing. With Taylor working on this, Taylor and Hannah working on this, is in GIS has refined a lot of the of this process and made it less stressful for me. So thanks, Taylor. So does anybody else have any questions?
I think you probably gave the answer to this, but I'm not totally clear on it. If there's no closing photo for a feature, that unit also should go into missing records. Is that correct? There's if you can't find a closing photo for the feature, that's kind of bizarre. I mean, that would be bizarre. Yeah, because every feature that's excavated, there should be a closing photo. I mean, what it might. I'm just trying to remember. It seems like sometimes there are a lot of them that don't have, but maybe I'm just not remembering right. Well, what you might find is that there's a closing photo for the unit, and the feature just isn't labeled.
and then you could use that photo
Oh,
as a
okay.
closing photo for the
So
feature.
yeah, so you could use a closing photo for a unit if the feature is present in that photo, then you could use that. You could say you would copy that then and use that and make a closing photo for the feature.
Yeah, you make a copy of
Is that right?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So
I think I hear a train whistle.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's in the background there. It'll be headed to Taylor pretty soon. Or maybe it's coming from you, Taylor, from
I
Arlington.
love that sound.
So
This has been very helpful, Matt. I appreciate
I'm
it.
glad. Well, it's
I have
awesome.
one more question.
Yeah.
Real quick. And that is, should I go back and for the front yard units that I worked on, should I go back and annotate the Google Sheet for those?
Yeah, thank you, Dean.
Yeah,
If
that was very
everyone could do that, that would be great.
Okay.
Go back
Okay.
and annotate what you've done. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, I haven't done that many yet for the front
Okay.
yard, so that'll be no problem.
Yeah. Thanks, Dean, for the additional work. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
I missed that last comment. What did you want us to go back and do?
Go back and fill out the Google Sheet, this one right here, for the units that you've done. And so if there's no problems, you could just put your initials for what you've done.
Okay.
So, cool.
Now, you recorded this, and so are you going to send it out, or do we pick it up under Slack, or where would we get it?
I will send this to you, Wendy. I'll send it to everybody. Unfortunately, I forgot to hit record for the first 10 minutes. So,
Okay.
but we'll
Probably the
there's
10
plenty
minutes
of
I missed.
examples. So, oh, cool. Well,
Matt, can I ask you a quick question?
yeah.
Okay, I just noticed that one of the bags that they're now called ARC material, ARC mat, and I know that's on my GIS list. So that would be I just came across this week actually a bag I was going to ask you about because it's a sand bag that has mortar. So that number should go for that line then, for the ARC mat line, the bag number.
That's where looking at the Google Sheet would be the best thing to do. There's a Google Sheet this is for the bunker, Kathy.
Yeah, okay, see what they called it. I think I'll check again because I think they may have just called it, dry 1/4, but I'm not sure.
And,
I'll see-
and
I'll
Kathy,
see-
if you put this in the Slack,
Yeah,
and there's actually under Slack, there is a, instead of relabel, we've got something called digitize. You can see it right here.
okay.
This is,
Or I can send stuff too.
yeah, this should be, let me see if you're in here.
Yeah, because I wasn't up for a learning curve this week.
Oh, okay, that's fine. Well, whenever you do that, there's the video for that as well.
Right. I wanted to do more work, but it was just kind of timely because this is the first instance that I've seen of that. And
yeah, I would have to look at that. I don't know how to answer that question. So
okay, so then I'll get them because
there's always things that are particular. And one thing I was going to tell you all is once we get a good bit of headway into the front yard, what I'd love to do is to turn some of y'all over to what Dean and Kathy have been doing, which is digitizing the strat cards and making GIS records for all this stuff. But I want to have you all get, a good number of these relabelings under your belt, and have you be completely comfortable with it and have like the Slack channel just be, great pictures of your kitties or, and not a lot of questions. So, or just the really bizarre ones, because there are some questions that you all have that I'm like, I don't know, I'm going to make a solid guess on this and act like I know what I'm doing. So, because there's just random stuff for all this. So some of it's a judgment call. And if Taylor was looking at it, she'd do it one way. If I had looked at it the day after, I'd do it another way. And I guess I'd be right because I'm your boss, Taylor. I don't know. So, but it could go as long as The main thing is the decision that we make on this is to make sure that it gets tied properly to the GIS records and to the database. And that's where this Google Sheet, it's really nice to have you all have a handle on what this Google Sheet is, because that gets us nearer and nearer to getting all that, those records matched up perfectly. So
This is, appreciate the support and the input. This is very interesting. So I'm
Yeah,
starting to
this
finally get
was
into it.
good.
yeah, well, I can't wait for you all to see the Lunch and Learn on Wednesday, because having the background information on what we found with the front yard will make it even more interesting. I can't remember who, if it was Chris or Pat, someone said, "Oh, I finally see where the front yard is," and I was like, "Oh my goodness, I never showed you all the front yard photos." So if you go to the front yard, I put the overall pics here. I don't know if y'all have explored this yet, but go through this, because for the 2005 season, you can see what the main house looked like, and then what we were working on, you know, for various periods. You can see if you click over here, you can go to details, and you can see, oh shoot, it doesn't say what time it was shot. It doesn't have that information's in the metadata somewhere, but I don't see it over here when the photo was taken. But you can just, you know, get
Also
some
gave us
overall.
access to the report on the front yard. I read that, looked at all the photos, and it all made a lot of sense. I don't remember where it is though.
That
Is it on-
is, oh, you know where that is, Peggy?
Yeah.
That's in the unit naming
Oh, okay, yeah.
document. So that is right here.
report that really helped me to see what in the world was going on. It made it make sense.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail in these
Yeah.
excavation reports. So you can, like, if you have insomnia, you could read, probably just want to read the first,
Not
in this
that bad.
case, the first, maybe,
Yeah, I
like
look forward
60
to
or
having
70
that.
pages. And then when you get into the site strata, that's some super detailed information. But one last thing to note, the site strata, that's listed right here. And so what the site strata is for example, for C2, that all across the front yard, there was this layer that we labeled site stratum 547, which is this cultural strat associated with the carriage road, and it has so much gravel and cobbles. And in the unit report, wherever that went, let's see. Yeah, in the unit report, that's where these site stratum are written up and described. So, but there's a short description for them under, that's what description is the description of the site stratum. And then you get the time period it's associated with. So
Be interesting. Be
Hmm?
interesting to know, not now, but how those site strata were determined and how they got those numbers. I mean,
That's all in the report.
is that all in the report?
That's all, like for each
Oh,
site
okay.
strata, it
All right.
describes how we
Yeah, sure.
know what we know and how we grouped them together. And what's going to be great is once we get all this stuff into GIS, what we'll be able to do is make a site strata map showing where, for example, all the units that site stratum 547 are on a GIS map. And so that will eventually be, I think, let me see if I've got, I don't know if I have the site map in here. Let's see this map right here. Yeah, that I've got this under a link for the map. Oh, this is an old one. Holy cow, I need to update this map. Let me see. Oh, see, here's the, this is the right one. I'll get rid of that one. I'll put a better map in here that's just the map and it's not all the story map that's in there. So, but cool. Well, good seeing everybody. And thanks for doing this work. I mean, this is, you know, we're making a huge amount of progress with this, which is really very much appreciated. And what's nice about this is once, you know, all the unit records are all relabeled to files, then we can start putting you all can start digitizing this into GIS, and that's when we'll be able to actually have maps where we link everything together, which is really great. So cool. Well, if you have any other questions, you can always put them into Slack. I try to keep up with that. I mean, if you're asking questions at midnight, that would probably be the next day before I get to it. So, and if for some reason you've got a question that I didn't answer, just put it back in there, and we can get to it. So. And definitely, you know, I know a number of you all have looked at the questions and answer them. Like Dean, you've answered people's questions. And so if you see a question and you have an answer to it, don't hesitate to answer. That's the neat thing about this collective is you can help each other out as well.
Sounds good.
So, all right, everybody. Well, I'll send out the link for this. It's good seeing you all.
All right.
Thank you.
Matt,
Have a good weekend.
question.
See ya.
Oh yeah,
Did you get my email last night?
I did not, Sarah. I'll look for that.
Okay. It's about possibly counting some volunteer hours for AmeriCorps for community service. I don't know if that's something that we can do.
Absolutely, you can do that. I now remember seeing that message late last night, and then it became red, and I forgot all about it. That's why I shouldn't look at emails at night. So thank you for the reminder,
okay.
sir. I'll get back to that. But it definitely does.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
All right.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.